So let's begin. So you need to first understand when you are writing a cover letter, what are the rules that come into the play based on which you will be granted or refuse the visitor visa. So as I have mentioned on many videos, you will see the term called V 4.2, A to E. These are the rules. And then there is V 4.3. Now, I've taken the liberty to simplify them. Basically, you need to, as a genuine visitor, this is the legal term, details are correct. Here, I hereby submit my application for a UK standard visitor visa for tourism purposes. This is extremely important to write straight away so that the visa officer knows that this is the purpose why you're coming to the UK. I'm an Indian national employed full time at Accenture, which is here in Mumbai as a senior project manager working on AWS implementation projects. This visit is fully funded through my employment, income, and personal savings. Now, understand that as soon as we say this is self funded, the clause 4.2, we rule this one 4.3 will not kick in because this rule is only when you have somebody else sponsoring you who has a professional or personal relationship with you. Given the fact the client has self funded, I'm not going to explain 4.3. Now, you write here that your GWF reference number, this is the online reference number. When you fill up the online application form on gov.uk, you make a payment, you get a unique reference number. That reference number comes here. Then you write your current valid passport number and your intended dates of travel. She is traveling from 10th of February to 21st of February. So these are important details to mention straight away. Going for tourist purposes, the dates, passport number that you're employed and is self-funded. Okay. Now, under the visitor visa rules, like I said, there are five rules V 4.2A to E. I'm going to tell them that how we meet each and every ground and what evidences are we supporting with. Okay, so let's look at intention to leave the UK. The first rule says that you must be a genuine visitor and you must return back from the UK after the end of the trip. So I've given a heading intention to leave the UK 4.2A. So I have written, I am going in an ongoing full-time employment with Accenture, having commenced my employment on 1st of June 2025. I have been granted authorized leave strictly for proposed travel period and I am required to resume duties in Mumbai immediately after my return. My professional, economic and home ties remain firmly in India. Now, there is a very important point that I want to make. When they want to see whether you will return to your home country, they want to see strong ties to the country. That's why I have written the word home ties to the country remain firmly in India. That means there is a compelling reason for which you will have to come back to the UK. You cannot just subjectively say that, yes, I'm going to come back. They need to see in evidence that there is an obligation, there is a commitment, or there is social ties that will compel you to come back. Now, what are those ties? Let me explain. So I'm given, so this is first the rule, this is my statement, and now comes the facts, which is evidence. I am providing authorized leave on a company letterhead from my HR and line manager confirming approved leave dates and return to work. So this letterheaded signed paper, which will be uploaded in the portal after you submit the application, proves that after 21st of February that she has to join back, and therefore her leave is granted for say 10 days and it is on a company letterhead. Now the visa officer can always contact the HR person or the line manager by email or by mobile to confirm whether this person's letter is genuine or not. Okay, so please make sure on that letter there are contact details and email address provided. I urge you to let them know that in case they want to get in touch, they should contact by email on the official email address, not the personal email address of the HR manager or the line manager, because then sometimes they are in the meeting, so you don't want them to avoid it. Okay. Then there is an estimate of return flight. So when you want to plan for the UK, what is the guarantee that you will come back? Another way to prove that is you have a return flight estimate that shows that you will be returning on 21st of February. So these are the two things that I'm providing to prove point number one. Now, point number two is here, no intention to make UK the main home, which is V 4.2B, through successive or frequent visits. Now, what they mean is there are some people when the visa is granted for 6 months, people stay for 5 months and then they return, then they take another 6 months visa, then they stay for 5 months. They don't want that. They want people to come for 2 weeks or a month and then go back. They don't want you to make UK your main home, which people have been exploiting. So, how I prove here is this. This is a short single visit for tourism. I do not have any relatives or long-term connections in the UK. My residence, employment, and financial obligations are based in India. This is a simple statement, but it's a powerful one because it states that it's a short visit. I'm only going for tourist purposes and I do not have anyone, because if you got many people who live in the UK, they could be suspicion that first of all you're not applying for the right visa, which should be a family visitors visa, or there could be chances that you will go there and not come back. So what evidence that you can show? I have a tenancy agreement confirming my rental accommodation in Mumbai, and there is a lease renewal due on 28th of February 2026. Now, importance of this is she's going from 10th February to 21st of February, right? And she has to come back to India to physically sign the statement. So she will provide her tenancy agreement. There is a date of renewal already provided, and therefore she is giving another reason that it's a short visit. I have to come back. Plus, her parents live in Delhi, which she has provided. So provide some photographs and proof that they're actually living in Delhi. Some kind of a bill that is in the name of the parents, and then financial support monthly contribution that she provides 20,000 rupees to her father who's retired. Now you need to, instead of just saying I provide 20,000, please make sure that in your bank statement this actually is a debit in your each and every month bank account. If it is not regular, then you need to mention that. Okay, so that shows that you have got strong ties also, and then you have no intention to make UK main home, because you have to come back and you have ties, means like you have a family, people who have children, they say I have to pay my school fees of my children, and I've got some legal loan commitments, whatever it is. But right now I've only provided this. Now the third is the permitted purpose of the visit. So visitor visa is only for visit purposes, right? So here I have written my sole purpose of travel is tourism. I intend to visit London, Kent, and Birmingham. There are three different cities, and I engage only in sightseeing and leisure activities permitted under the visitor route. Now, when you say like this, you've been specific. You're not just saying I just want to go to the UK. You have to write it specifically that I want to visit, say, for example, these three uh, cities, and I'm going to color them, and I am going to engage only in sightseeing and leisure activities. This is permitted under the visitor route because it's for visit purposes. How I provide? So, propose sightseeing itinerary. In London, I'm going to see Covent Garden, Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, London Eye, sightseeing bus tour, and the cost is £54, which I will use. So there is a bus company, Red Bus Company, that provides you a ticket to take you around London on a bus for the entire day or 2 days, and then there is a cost for that. That shows that you are being specific about it. Then in Kent, which places you want to see? Then you were saying that I intend to stay at Premier Inn. It's a hotel. It's a Kent is a different city where there is Kent Cricket County also, and then she's going to also stay in Birmingham. So when you add a level of detail, it tells the person that you've done your research and you're clear about where you will go, why you will go, and where you will stay. Okay. Now, the fourth part is you will not undertake any prohibited activities. So, this is a really important part that you need to understand. So, here we will declare I will not, I confirm that I will not take any paid or unpaid or business activities, study, or access to public funds during my visit, and will fully comply with the conditions of the visitor route. Now, it's it's important for you to understand that sometimes people have been cancelled visa at London airport because they said they're going for tourist purposes, but when the visa immigration officer, the entry clearance officer at the London Heathrow airport opened the luggage, they found that somebody had a CV, they had business samples that they wanted to sell or promote, so they did not come for the purpose that they had originally applied for, which was tourist purpose. If you come with a CV, that means you have an intention to work there or look for work. If you come with business samples, that means you are trying to promote your business, right? So then you should clearly say that you're coming for business visit, not tourism purposes. Okay, you cannot expect a visa case officer to read your mind through just application that it's okay, it's understandable. No, you have to select the right purpose. Everything is under standard visitor visa, but you select for tourism, you're only there to see, sightseeing or cultural. Okay, so first we gave a declaration that we will not undertake any paid or unpaid work. There are certain exceptions to this. In visitor visa, paid engagements are allowed only in certain exceptions. For example, somebody has been invited by a commentator, like a cricketer, like Virendra Sehwag or Dinesh Karthik, and but there are certain rules to it, like the engagement should start in the very first month. But there are different documentation required. But normally, in nutshell, you should know on visitor visa you're not allowed to work or seek any paid or unpaid work. You're there just to see. Now, what evidence proves that? You say, I have an employment contract confirming stable and well remunerated employment in India. She already earns a very handsome salary. She gets a bonus, which is reflected in bank statements and pay slips. And she's previously traveled to Switzerland for, say, 4 days, and she returned back on time. Now, this is an excellent way. If you've traveled to any other country other than the UK, which they will going to ask you in the online application form, and you said yes, and you told gave them details about where you traveled, they would look at first of all your passport copy, the stamp of entry and exit from that country. Then they will also see if there are any remarks written on the passport that whether you complied or not. Because in the Schengen visa, which allows you to travel across 26 states like Switzerland, Luxembourg, Germany, France, and other countries, she went there for 4 days and she came back. So that is a very credible sign that you've not engaged in work there. You just went to see the place, then you came back on time. Okay, so that is, so you here you give a declaration like this, and then you support it with your travel history that you complied with the jurisdiction. And the likeliness is, instead of likeliness, I would say you will come across as credible that you've traveled to a country and then you came back and you respected that jurisdictional laws. Okay, and that will mean that you are going to comply with the UK laws. Now the final point is financial ability. So they want to know that either you yourself or somebody who's a third party is going to be able to fund you for this trip, and you will be able to meet the expenses for the trip, and then you will safely return back to your home country. Now, they also look at, for example, since we have said at the beginning that she earns a salary and she's self funding it, now we're going to prove that by which source of funding we are going to fund this trip. So I said, I earn a net month salary of 2 lakh rupees credited regularly to my bank account and hold liquid investments of 18 lakh rupees in mutual funds. My estimated trip budget is 6 lakh rupees, which is equivalent to 4,930 pounds sterling based on XC.com as of 16th of January, the date of submission, and is sufficient to cover all expenses for the duration of my stay. So the trip is for 10 days. She has budgeted 6 lakhs rupees, which in pounds sterling is 4,930, based on XC.com or Wonder.com as of 16th of January. Now, what evidence is she showing that she can meet it? She has shown 6 months bank statements. So, for example, she wants to travel in, say, February. So she should show January 2026, December 2025, November, October, September, and August 2025. Normally people show 3 months, but I would say always show 6 months. And then you need to make sure that if your jobs have not changed, you're still getting the same salary each month. If there is a sudden credit, you need to explain that. For example, she has also provided employment contract copy plus 6 pay slips. So understand, you cannot assume that I just provide bank statement. You need to show that there is a proof of employment, which is a contract, which shows gross salary without taxes. Then 6 pay slips because 6 months have passed, showing the total gross salary, net deductions, and the net in hand salary. And that net in hand salary is actually entering the same bank account that you provided here. Okay, and then there is the mention of a bonus payment of 240,000. Now this is really important for you to understand. Many times visas are refused not just because people don't have funds, they have too many funds but that are unexplained, like a sudden lump sum deposit, but it is not explained. And let me explain. In order to commit fraud, some people, what they do is they borrow money from finances at high interest rate, and before the application, they in 28 days they get, say, a huge amount of money credited to their bank account, and they used to show that they have sufficient funds to pay for it. And as soon as they used to get the visa, they would return that money back to the financer with interest, and then they would go to the UK and not return back. In order to close that loophole, the government brought in a certain regulation, which is in 4.2e, that there are different rules. So if you're not self-funding, then there is a third party involved, then you need to establish that they have a professional or personal relation with you, and you need to have the documentation to support that as to why they're paying, right? If you're self-funding, then you need to show your own funds. So I'm saying that there is a sudden credit of 240,000 rupees, which is a bonus of 2025 paid in January, which is probably dated 15th of January, and that is for the last year bonus. So besides the January salary, she also got the bonus of last year. I and because once you explain 240,000 sitting in the bank account, the visa officer is going to say, aha, she got two payments and it is not an unexplained transaction. This is a explained transaction. So the more clearer, the more easy you make the life of the visa case officer, the better it is for you. Okay. Now, she also has mutual funds, and she's saying she got 460,000 credit on 10th of January from HDFC. So in the same month when she got the bonus, she also got a credit from selling her mutual funds by HDFC. Okay, and she got 460,000. Now, how does the visa officer know what HDFC is or what mutual fund is, whose name it is in? So you need to provide the context of that by providing the statement of, say, last 1 year or 6 months, saying this is my mutual fund account, here is my name, here is my account number, this is the mutual fund regulation number, that that the fund is regulated by the stock market, and these many units I have held since this amount of period, and in order to fund my trip I have sold x amount of units at this and this price, and net of any fees I got this money. So you will be able to clearly show the proof that on one side your money was debited, means you sold the units, and then it got credited into the bank account on 10th of January. So there is a clear linkage to that, and I think that is something you need to bear in mind, that it becomes clearer, and then there is no unexplained transaction. Usually people provide one bank statement and then there is money coming in. Please do not make the mistake of assuming that the visa case officer is going to know everything. So you have to make his or her life easier by explaining what that sudden credit is. Okay. Now, you have also explained that your average monthly expenses. This is a question they ask: how much do you spend each month? So you have to total everything each month, add 6 months together, and divide it by 6 months. So you will get the average expenditure. Okay, and she said she spent 55,000 out of 2 lakhs. She gives 20,000 to the parents, which is then you need to have a proof that money is going from your account to your parents' account also. Okay, this way you show that you earn enough, and even after this trip, after spending 6 lakhs rupees, when you come back you will have enough money with you. If you only had, say, 8 lakh rupees and you're going to spend 6 lakhs rupees, the chances of you getting the visa would be highly unlikely in that case. Then what I would urge you to do, instead of going for 10 days, go for 4 days, spend about 3.5 lakh rupees instead of, say, 6 lakhs rupees, because then you would still be left with 5 lakh rupees. Now you have to also give a breakdown of your entire trip, that how 6 lakhs rupees is split into. So I said I'm going to stay in Stratford, which is in London, from 10th February to 14th of February. This will cost me 600. Then in Kent, I will stay another 2 nights from 14 to 16. It will cost me this much. Then in Birmingham, then in Canning Town in London, and my total stay cost will 1,680. Then for food, I have estimated £100 times 10 nights, that's £1,000, because this also includes local travel by tube, which is the underground train, right? And I think for a single person this is sufficient, depending on what, if you like to eat in a five-star hotel, then clearly this is not sufficient. But if you like to order from Uber or something, I think you're good to go, right? Then this is intercity travel, which means from London to Birmingham, Birmingham to Kent. That is more expensive. Then you need to quote the source, which is National Rail, and this is costing £200. So try to be as specific as possible, but don't get too bundled up in decimal places. Try to round it up so that people can understand, right? Then the return flight, Mumbai, London, Mumbai, this is a return flight 750, because we mentioned that there is a proof of return flight. So that means you have an estimate, because please do not make the arrangements assuming that you'll be granted visa, right, by paying for everything upfront by in non-refundable refundable flights. For example, people end up booking flights and then their visas refused. Please do not do that. Please go to booking.com or Skyscanner, any portal, select the dates, select the number of people, and then the destination. You will get an estimate. Take a snapshot of that, convert it into PDF, and then say, this is my air return flights estimate from Skyscanner, so that they know that this is matching. And what you need to make sure that the total here matches the total on the website. Then you have medical insurance just to make sure that if you get sick, something happens. And then there is shopping and contingency. So I have, you don't need to show how much you will shop, but a lump sum figure is handsome. And I think she's not likely to spend this much, but the fact that she's given the detail, it ensures that she will not be dependent on the public funds. Because what the UK government do not want is you go there and say I have no home, then you claim asylum, and then you want housing and accommodation and food. So that's why they want to ensure that only people who can self fund a trip, or somebody else can fund the trip, are genuine visitors. Okay, these are the five grounds. So let me recap: that you will leave the UK, which is 4.2a, no intention to make UK main home through frequent or successive visits. 3, you will only be coming for permitted purpose, which is tourism purposes. Then fourth, you will not undertake any prohibited activities, which is to work, business, or any other thing that is not related to tourist purpose. And 5, that you have the ability to self-fund this trip, and you have credible economical stable history. If you are unemployed, if you are a business person, then this cover letter will not work for you, right? And in the end, I've given the estimate, and then I've written this. This is really, really important, so I'm going to highlight it for you so that you can take a note of that. I've written, given the standard visitor visa does not carry a right of appeal or administrative review, I respectfully request that should any further clarifications or documentation be required, I be contacted and I would respond promptly. Now, understand the importance of this thing. You need to understand, this is why you need to go to a skilled expert, because the before 2013 there used to be a right of appeal or administrative review, which was that if a caseworker made a mistake, we would use administrative review. If we felt the decision was unfair, then we would go and take them to first tier tribunal and take them to court and then challenge the decision. Right now, since 2013, this appeal right and administrative review has gone, which means that if you make a single mistake, or if you make a mistake that does not satisfy the visa case officer, they have every reason to refuse their application on the balance of probabilities on one of those five grounds that I've just listed. You just need to fail on one ground, and if they think that you're not a genuine visitor, or you cannot afford the trip, or they have suspicion that you're not credible, they will refuse you the visa. So by writing such language, you're going to do two things. First, sometimes they would need clarification and you have forgotten to provide a certain document that you've written here but you've not provided, or you should provide some additional information. For example, they tried to contact the HR was not available, or she was on annual leave, and they're trying to get to confirm whether you have actually got a genuine letter or not. So what do you do in that instance? So they will reach out to you, and then what you need to provide is that, let me get you in touch with my line manager. Here is the email address, here is the mobile number, you can get in touch. By writing this before they reject the visa, they will give you a benefit of doubt that, let me try to reach out to this person, that's why they're coming to you. Normally whatever you're submitting at a time of application is final, but in case they have a doubt, they can always come back to you. Okay, so make sure you pay attention. Then you write, I respectfully request that my application be considered favorably on the basis of enclosed evidence demonstrating my genuine visitor status, financial ability, and full intention to comply with the UK immigration rules. So it is self explanatory, I don't need to explain. Then you sign it. Now, this is the cover letter. At the bottom of the cover letter, you need to add something called annexure, in which you show the estimates. So I want to keep everything in single document. I don't want to paste the bank statements in this document or supporting evidence. But since I said 6 lakhs rupees roughly is equal to 4,930 pounds as per xe.com, I have attached the snapshot here so that they can see for themselves. Then I also said that you're going to be staying in Premier Inn. So the dates, whichever dates the address of the hotel, you can see that you went to the website. This is the cost per night. Please make sure that whatever the estimate is coming here on the screen is actually written there, and that adds up to, and that is within the budget that you've said. If you have a deviation between what you have said on the form and then there is a higher cost, they will say you've not planned the trip properly and you do not have sufficient funds. So please make sure that you have right details. Then I've also taken the snapshot of britishairways.com. I went to booking.com, I selected these flights, and I have an estimate here. It shows Mumbai to London for 435 pounds, and you can highlight it that I'm going to use this flight. So as I said, that you don't have to book anything, but by showing the estimate, you will show that you've done proper diligence, you made effort in the application, and your cover letter explains anything that normally is not explained, or there is no place to explain in the UK visa application form. That's why I highly recommend that with each and every UK visitors application, visa application, please include a good, meticulously well prepared cover letter, and so that the visa officer can see that. Now, before I go and end this video, I want to just give a disclaimer. Please do not make the mistake of copying this uh, letter and applying it blankly. I have given you the foundation as a lawyer. This is how I draft my letters. I've never had a visitor visa refusal for whosoever I've applied, and I want to tell you this is the reason, because I'm very thorough and I make the application tailored to the needs of the person who I am filing the visa for. But in order for you to make a decent cover letter, rewatch this video, try to have the buckets like intention to leave the UK, no intention to make UK main home, permitted purposes, and try to put your own evidences. You don't have to only rely on what I'm saying. For example, if you want to show in point 1 here that you got strong home ties, you can show that I'm married to my wife who's not accompanying me. I have two children and they study in the school ABC, and I have to pay their monthly fees. You can check from my bank statements, the fees get deducted on the 4th of every month. You mark it for them, and then you say that this is the proof of my marriage. I'm married to this person. I have two children. Show a photograph on social media also that I have a reason to come back to my home country. That shows that you got strong home ties. Sometimes you could be having parents who are quite old and you have to look after them, so therefore you say the visit is only for short purposes. This is how you prove it. So that's why it's really important that you just do not just copy and paste, and always tailor the evidence according to your own situation. For example, if you are not funded 100% by yourself, then this letter is not for you. If you are being funded by your father or mother, then the letter and the evidence changes drastically. So I hope you've enjoyed the video in terms of how to draft a cover letter. This is how I draft my cover letters. In case you want a copy to buy for yourself and structure yourself, the link is in the description down below. And you can pay for it, and as soon as you pay for it, the letter would be provided to you in three formats: PDF, Google Doc, and Microsoft Word. It will be coming to your email instantly, and then you can take that, because it's in structure, remove the copyright notices, remove the tips, and then try to tailor it to your um, own application and own circumstances. So please do subscribe to my channel and do drop me in the comments if you like the video, and I'll be making more and more videos on other issues also.